Thank you for joining us for another episode of Marking the Times. We didn't have an episode last week. I think we've had about 53 or 54 in a row, and we missed last week. I forgot to film one early. Cheryl and I went out to California and spent some time with my friend Philip DeCourcy there, and spoke at his church at Kindred Community Church last week. And we spent a little time out in the desert in La Quinta and got a little bit of golf in last week. So anyway, it was a great time to be away for spring break. But glad to be back here. Glad to be back here at Faith Bible Church and be here with you today. And I want to talk about something that happened yesterday. We just got back in town and something historic has taken place. President Trump yesterday recognized the Golan Heights as part of the sovereign territory of Israel. And you remember we talked sometime back when President Trump said Jerusalem's the capital of Israel, and of course caused a lot of furor in the Arab world. But this is probably equally really as monumental as that declaration, that the Golan Heights is part of Israel. It's interesting. The whole world is kind of in an uproar. Many people are about this, but really all President Trump is doing is stating the obvious. These aren't groundbreaking statements. Jerusalem's the capital of Israel. The Golan Heights are part of Israel. The Golan Heights are historically, politically, and legally part of Israel. I mean, they're part of the ancient tribe of Manasseh. They're legally part of Israel. They were as part of the original Palestinian mandate that was given to Israel. It was kind of traded off later, and the French got control of it, and then they gave it to Syria. But what I would encourage you, if you don't know what the Golan Heights is, I don't really have a map here with me today, but it's the far northeastern part of the nation of Israel, a very strategic area, about 500 square miles, a very hilly plateau, and whoever controls that really controls all of the surrounding area militarily. It's a great military advantage to have this high ground there. Again, it's just called the Golan, but often called the Golan Heights. And if you've been to Israel, I've been there 5 times. We're going to go a year from now again, Lord willing. You go up to a place called Mount Bental, and you can see down into Syria from there. And you can really, when you're there, you see the strategic importance of the Golan Heights. And again, Israel retook the Golan Heights in 1967 in the Six-Day War. They took about 2/3 of it. In 1973, the Yom Kippur War, Syria tried to take it back and they were unsuccessful. So they've never tried to retake it since then. It's been part of Israel. It was annexed by Israel in 1981, but still it's never really become officially part of Israel. So President Trump's statement here was really a monumental statement that immediately Prime Minister Netanyahu responded to that. But as we see this happening, again, it's a strategic part for Israel, a place for Israel to maintain sovereignty over. But I think prophetically what's interesting about this is Syria has come out immediately and said that they're going to recover the Golan by all available means. And I think this is setting the stage for the great northern war predicted in the Bible in Ezekiel 38 and 39. Because when you look at Syria today, who controls Syria? Well, it's Russia. Russia controls Syria. So there they are right on the northern border of Israel, controlling Syria, of course, along with Iran. And you read Ezekiel 38, 2 of the nations that will invade Israel in the end times are Rosh or Russia and Persia or Iran. There they are right on the northern border of Israel in Syria. And it's been said over there in Syria, in that area, that whenever the Syrian civil war is over, that Russia is going to want the Golan Heights back. Now, again, Israel's not going to give that to them, and I think this, again, is going to be part of the machinery or the triggering someday for the great war of Ezekiel 38 and 39, this great northern war, where these nations come down into the land of Israel. So, again, if you have get on the internet and look up the Golan Heights, and you can see where that is in Israel. You'll see how strategic it is. Maybe you can do a little reading about the history of it. But this is a very significant event politically, significant event historically, legally, really for the nation of Israel. But I think it's a significant event theologically and biblically and prophetically as well. Whenever we go up to Mount Bental there, when we're in Israel, and we overlook Syria, you can see down into Syria, we're up in the area of the Golan. I always do a teaching there about Ezekiel 38 and 39. It talks about these nations from the north coming down into the land of Israel. And again, today, with Russia in control of Syria, with Iran having troops there, we can see how the fulfillment of Ezekiel 38 could happen really in an unparalleled way to any time in the past. So these are some things that are happening in our world today. There's a lot of talk about it, politically and all of that, but prophetically, this is a very important stage-setting event, I think, for what's going to happen in the future. Well, thanks again for joining us. I plan next time to answer some questions that you all have sent in, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. God bless you. Have a good week.